And I'm joined now by Peter Vincent. He's the Assistant Director General of International Policy at BORDERPOL, which is a nonprofit group promoting smart border security. You were sitting in that chair about 24 hours ago. We were talking about this. You talked about lone rats, and I wrote down your words. Almost impossible to stop. They ring true, don't they?
That's right, and it was exactly what ISIL was looking to do. They certainly announced it through a variety of media sources. One of the Islamic State's media arms issued a request to supporters just in the past few days to go out and to turn these so-called feasts into funerals, and unfortunately they have succeeded at that. In addition, the leader of the Islamic State, al-Baghdadi, also called for individuals to go out and specifically referenced Turkey to go out and commit terrorist acts.
Peter, you've been sitting in this seat quite a few times in 2016. You were here talking to us about the coup attempt. You were here talking to us about the attack at the airport in Istanbul. You were here talking to us about the Russian ambassador who was assassinated. We've had case after case in 2016 of terrorism in Turkey. What are some of the unique challenges in that country, and why do we keep seeing it so often?
Turkey is in a unique place geographically and politically. Of course, it straddles both the East and the West, both Europe and Asia. It shares borders with, of course, Syria and Iraq and Iran, a very dangerous place right now. There are literally thousands of foreign fighters transiting through Turkey to make their way into Syria and out. It causes a great deal of stress for the law enforcement and intelligence agencies there. And because of this unique geographic position, the rest of the world is looking to Turkey to assist in this global effort to stop terrorism.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because the Western governments were really putting a lot of pressure on Ankara, that this jihadist highway that you're referencing, the porous border, so many people transiting in and out. Is this one of the cases where the door swings both ways? I mean, that perhaps Ankara should have done a much better job of trying to police this?
For a long time, Mike, the global community put significant pressure on Ankara to really take the fight to the Islamic State, operating primarily out of Syria and Iraq. For the most part, Turkey has always seen the Kurdistan Workers' Party, also known as the PKK, as an existential threat to its existence, and was not perhaps hitting ISIL as hard as the West certainly wanted it to. Now, in the past 6 or 7 months, Ankara has actually taken the fight to ISIL, and now I think you see the results of that. Now ISIL is looking to hit back, and they have hit back on a number of occasions.
You've traveled to Turkey on a number of occasions there recently. What does this do to the psyche of the people? I mean, terrorism, that's the whole key, isn't it? I mean, the unbalanced quality. And then also, what does it do for a country like that that relies so much on tourism?
It's really been a just horrific past year for Turkey. Of course, they're facing challenges from ISIL. They're facing challenges from the PKK. And I was there just a couple of months ago, and a very dark mood hung over the entire country. I think now, obviously, that mood is even darker. The people are resilient, and they have this really unique challenge. At the same time, they are just worn down by the horrific violence that they've seen over the past year.
Let me ask you one final question, because we saw this in the case last night. We also saw it in Berlin. There's so much chaos involved in these incidents. In Berlin, it looked like they had the suspect, but they didn't. He got away. It looked as though they were going to get the suspect last night when we were on the air, and somehow he got away. How does that happen?
I'm confident that in this case, the Turkish authorities will ultimately identify and capture the perpetrator of this horrific act. But he acted, unfortunately, very cool, calm, and collected when he was carrying out this heinous act of terrorism. He probably had help. We know that there was at least one gunman. We don't see any video of any other gunman, but he probably had a network operating throughout Turkey that is providing him with some sort of safe houses as he tries to hide out from the Turkish authorities, who, again, I have no doubt will locate him before too long.
All right. Peter Vincent, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.